Hi, my name is Pam Ahern and this is Vetless Ruby. I'm the founder and director of Edgar's Mission, and I'd like to welcome you all to Storytime with the gift of kindness, inspiring true stories of rescued farm animals by me. Enjoy. Hey, Ruby?
Edgar Allan Pig, the pig who started it all. When James Cromwell, farmer Hoggart from the hit movie Babe, arrived in Australia in May of 2003, it seemed like a golden opportunity to highlight the plight of pigs and put the spotlight on our flawed animal protection legislation that says some animals are more equal than others. James, a passionate animal activist, readily agreed to help. We thought it would be a good idea to get a photograph of James and a pig. But where to find a pig? An approach to a children's farm revealed that if we parted with $150, they would be happy to let James have his photograph taken with a pig. Pigs, we said. And then we had a brilliant idea of procuring our own pig. A procure we did, from a piggery, a landrace large white cross, who we named Edgar Allan Pig. A sanctuary was then needed to provide lifelong loving care for our porcine star, so we created such a sanctuary and named it Edgar's Mission in his honour. And life for all changed forever. Today, literally thousands of animals' lives have been saved thanks to this humble pig. I took Edgar for walks in the park, and people would come from everywhere to marvel at his unique brand of pigginess. With his deep guttural belly grunts, Edgar quickly endeared himself to all he met. Watching the profound effect Edgar had on people, way beyond anything I could ever say, I came to thinking that the best ambassadors for changing the way people think about farmed animals were the animals themselves. So Edgar's Mission became a sanctuary for the animals we could rescue, and a much needed voice for those we could not. Edgar's delightful ability to champion the cause of pigs saw him become the first of a great line of ambassador pigs who now call Edgar's Mission home sweet home. Sadly, Edgar passed away shortly after his 7th birthday party. He is missed beyond measure, but his mission will continue.
Ruby, the right job for a dog.
Hey, this is your story.
Ruby is a purebred working sheepdog. Her previous owner paid a lot of money for her as a pup, so his expectations were very high. Some people believe that you can put a value on animals, but Ruby couldn't understand what exactly was wanted of her. Her lack of ability made her owner very cross. He said that she was a bad dog, and he beat her, trying to get her to understand. This confused the poor dog even more. Deep down, Ruby always wanted to have fun. She never wanted to herd sheep and spoil their fun either. They looked like they enjoyed hanging out together, and the last thing they wanted was a dog hassling them. But her owner didn't see it like this. He would rant and rave at her until one day he said that he had had enough, and he took Ruby to his mate's place to shoot her. She got very scared and wet herself. She did that a lot of times whenever people raised their voices or their hands. She would cower in fright, fearing the worst. She knew the man with the gun had a good heart deep down, and just sensed that some hearts sleep more than others. She thought if she could awaken his sleeping heart, he might just spare hers. When he got his gun, she jumped up on him. She knew she wasn't meant to, but she wanted to take one last look into his eyes, and maybe, just maybe, she could see into his heart. A tear filled his eye as he said, "Down, dog, down." He walked away and made a phone call. The rest is the start of Ruby's life at Edgar's Mission. The gate was open to her, along with our hearts. To repay this kindness, she's made it her official duty to personally greet every visitor, both human and non-human, to Edgar's Mission, ensuring that there was never any doubt that they would feel the gentle touch, or in her case lick, of kindness. And who knows, she might even wake up a few more hearts along the way.
Oh, Vetless. Hey.
Snuffles, the gift pig. At just 3.5 months old, Snuffles tipped the scales at 13 kilos, but only time would tell if she truly remained miniature in size. Snuffles was purchased as a gift for a couple who were not ready to be pig parents, and they quickly surrendered the adorable young porcine to a shelter. Still unsure of the world, after all, hers had just been turned upside down, Snuffles was a little aloof at first, but quickly melted in our arms. she enjoyed a cuddle and a good old snuffle. Her favourite treats were watermelon, which doubled as a neat wallow, and grapes. Snuffles quickly mastered the sit and be cute command, affirming what fast learners pigs are. Pigs are so much more than a token gift. While Snuffles' journey from unwanted present to adored friend and a happy ending, not all animals given as gifts will be so lucky. Her story serves to be a timely reminder to never surprise someone with an animal. But one thing is for sure, Snuffles is the gift that keeps on giving as she has made her way into many hearts. Hey, Snuffy?
Othello, where the grass is greener. Othello is a modern-day tragedy, albeit with a happy ending. Othello and his two buddies somehow found their way onto a busy outer Melbourne freeway. Terrified and way out of their depth, the trio didn't know which way to run. Sadly, Othello's two offsiders took a chance to flee across a busy thoroughfare and fell victim to a motor vehicle. Left alone and scared, Othello somehow became entangled in discarded tarpaulin, and things went from bad to worse in the blink of an eye. But luckily the goodness of the human heart came to the fore. Othello's plight reached local wildlife carers, who enlisted the help of Manfred and his dart gun. The heavily sedated goat then gave his rescuers more than a few anxious moments as he struggled to come out of the sedation. Arriving at Edgar's mission, still unconscious, it was to be a long night monitoring Othello's vital signs. He reaped the benefits of many a previous hours spent rehabilitating goats who had justifiably lost their trust in man. Through the dawn's rays, Othello staggered about the stable like a drunken sailor, trying to flee despite his disabled state. He was convinced ours is a species not to be trusted. But the lady in the hat was patient and kind with a gentle touch. She spent many hours just sitting with Othello until the day came for him to once again reacquaint himself with the outside world. With great trepidation, Othello followed his new buddy, and mixing trust with skittishness, headed for a laneway brimming with luscious green long grass. The goat and his friend explored, Othello agreeing. The grass is really greener. When the lady in the hat departed, it wasn't long before Othello jumped the fence and tagged along too. When office jobs beckoned, another yard was found with an even higher fence. Othello enjoyed his new digs until once again the lady in the hat departed and he proved that a higher fence was no impediment for his love. It took a cyclone fence and a small enclosure and a steely resolve to find a yard that could contain Othello long enough for him to recover before he could be reintroduced with his goaty buddies. He has learned to make do with joyous short interludes of tagging along, assisting the lady in the hat on her rounds of the sanctuary.
Radar, Miracle Boy. Radar was found along with his two siblings, Margaret and Hawkeye, by bushwalkers in Bacchus Marsh one cold June morning. They were all very weak, cold and hungry. No one knows exactly what happened to their mother. Hawkeye was the smallest and bravest of the three and wandered off to look for their mother, but stumbled down a steep ravine. Luckily the bushwalkers heard his cries and came to save him, and in doing so came across Radar and Margaret. Abandoning their bushwalk, they bundled up the goats and promised to take them to a place of safety. They were still very cold, tired and hungry when the box lid was opened and they took their first peek at Edgar's mission. Sadly for Hawkeye and Margaret, salvation had come too late and they passed away not long after arrival. But they did get to feel the touch of human kindness that Radar enjoys every day. Like all mammals, goats need their mother's milk in order to survive, and most important is the colostrum, the first milk she produces. It is rich in energy, protein, vitamins and minerals, as it contains maternal antibodies that help protect newborns from diseases. It is essential that they receive this in their first 24 hours of life. Antibodies can only cross the intestinal wall and enter their bloodstream during the first 24 hours of life. For orphans like Radar, the susceptibility to diarrhea and pneumonia is high if they don't get enough colostrum. Radar's new human friends called him Miracle Boy because it was first thought that the lost goats wouldn't receive any colostrum, and that may well have been the reason for the rapid demise of Hawkeye and Margaret, despite the very best of care they did receive. Radar may well be the miracle boy, but the real miracle is the power of love and kindness.